Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, to His disciples and to His followers. I was just trying to share as to why we call Lord Krishna as Ranchod Rai. We know that especially in Gujarat there is a temple in a place called Dakhor where Lord Krishna is worshipped as Ranchod Rai, and it so happens that when you normally take the darshan of the deity, the first thing you do is you do a Dandavat Pranam and you give obeisances and you welcome the Lord with pleasantries. But in this particular temple, if you have darshan there, when they open the altar, they start actually giving sort of not bad words, but they give a lot of slangs. They call the Lord, tu chore, ranchore, bhagchore, that sort of thing. There's a different lila there. So why is Lord called this Ranchod Rai? So I thought I'll just share this lila of the Lord with you all today. As we know, after the defeat of Kamsa was actually having two wives, and their names were Asti and Prapti, and he was the son-in-law of Jarasandha. He was a very powerful emperor of Bihar area now. That's Magad in those days. And as he lost his son-in-law, he was very angry, and he wanted to, and after hearing the pleas of his daughters, he wanted to take revenge, and he attacked Mathura continuously for 17 times. As we all know, the Lord has appeared to vanquish the demons and establish dharma. So he did one good thing. Whenever Jarasandha used to come for battle, he would be captured after the battle. He would tell Lord Balram that please release him, and he would go back and again gather a big, huge army. So this was becoming easy for them. They didn't have to go run here and there. This guy was bringing all the asuras to one place. So for 17 times this thing happened. So the Lord by the time decided that to end this problem, he should have a different new place. So he had called Vishwakarma and asked him to make a wonderful city. That's what we know as Dwarka. In those days it was a fortress. It was in the sea. And nobody could access it the way somebody could do access in the land. So he told his grandfather, Ugrasen, who was the king that time, that we should move. And parallelly they were doing this movement from Mathura. So Jarasandha at the time had a very close friend, King Shalya, that we also know that he participated in the Mahabharata war. He advised him that you have been defeated 17 times, but now you should take alliance from some very powerful king. So he agreed to do that, and he suggested that he should go and take alliance from Kala Yavana. Kala Yavana was one of the very powerful kings of those days, and his history was full of vengeance for the Yadavas, because his father was Rishi Gargacharya, who was insulted by one of those people there in one of the times that he doesn't have any manhood sort of thing, and they insulted him. So he went to do tapasya to Lord Shiva. It said that he did tapasya, total brahmacharya for 12 years, and he only ate some iron dust. And in the end, Lord Shiva was pleased and asked Gargacharya what he wanted. So he said, I want a son who will show the prowess to all these people, and he will never be defeated. So Lord Shiva said, yes, I can see that you want this, and I can also see that you still have some desire in your heart. So then Lord Shiva blessed him, and he was doing his tapasya again in the forest. So one day he saw a beautiful lady crossing by, and they both felt attracted to each other, and of course from the consumption they had a child. She was actually Ramba, the Apsara from the heavenly planet. So after the child was born, this child was very blackish. That's why he's called Kala Yavana. The father could not actually look after him for a long time because he also left the planet. But before he left the planet, he gave this young son of his to another king of Yavana Raj, that is Kaljanga. And so he adopted Kala Yavana and made him a very powerful warrior and heir to his throne also. And he also got into a lot of meditation and pleasing Lord Shiva, and he was given a benediction that no Astra Shastra will harm him at any cost. And because of that, he was very powerful, nobody could defeat him, and he was ruling over so many kingdoms, and he was very powerful. One day, out of curiosity or maybe ahankar, when he met Lord Narada Muni, he asked him, like, who is the real powerful person in this world, like whom I can fight? Because I'm itching to do this, and nobody wants to fight with me, everybody runs away. So Lord Narada told him that you can only get your match if you fight with Lord Krishna. So as Kshatriyas, normally there should be a cause for a fight. So he could not just go and challenge Lord for the fight. So he waited. So when the alliance request came from Jarasandha to Kala-Yavana, he was very happy. And he immediately agreed. And some 3 million plus strong Yavana army accompanied him back to Mathura side. And they laid siege to Mathura. So when this happened, Balramji and Lord Krishna, they decided to face. But by the time, they had sent most of the people from Mathura to Dwarka. So it was like a safety factor in picture. And then Kala-Yavana just gave one day. He said, okay, you decide and we're going to fight. So Krishna, the next day, he came to him and told him that, let's do one thing. Why should all these soldiers unnecessarily kill themselves and die? Well, anyway, you are such a powerful personality, you can take on anybody. So we both will fight. So Kala-Yavana agreed. He said, okay, there's no problem. We'll have the fight. So by the time Balramji arranged for all those people to go back, etc., and the fight started between Kala-Yavana and Lord Krishna. So amidst the fight, suddenly the Lord turned back and started running away. So Kala-Yavana started telling him, hey, what about Kshatriya are you? You're such a coward. Stop, fight with me. And he started chasing him. And Lord would walk very fast, run fast, just about to be caught. And Kala-Yavana would just be able to catch him. And again, Lord would be out of his reach. He would go through the forest, through the mountains, jump across. And, Kala-Yavana was getting frustrated. He was shouting at the top of his voice and, getting extremely angry. But Lord kept on looking at him, smiling, and then walking away. And he followed him, and then the Lord took him into a cave, a very dark cave. Suddenly he went inside. So Kala-Yavana was a little behind. He could see that Lord was entering the cave from a far distance. He also entered the cave after some time. And as he entered the cave, he saw a silhouette of a person sleeping on the ground, and he saw the Angavastra of the Lord, because when Lord entered the cave, he had put the Angavastra on this person who was sleeping on the ground. Actually, it was a very old timer from Treta Yuga, that was King Muchkunda, who was sleeping at that place. King Muchkunda was from the lineage of Lord Ramchandra, same Ishavaku and Suryavanshis. And he had, of course, a father who was also very powerful in those days. He was called Mandatha. And in his lineage, there was Harishchandra, there was Dilip, there was King Raghu, Lord Ramchandra. And of course, his own brother was none other than the Ambarish Maharaj that we know about, the great personality. So he was a very famous person, and he was a very powerful warrior in those days, in Treta Yuga. One of the times when the Asuras and the Devas had a fight, the Asuras were winning and the Devas were being routed. So Devas approached Muchkunda, he was the emperor, and said, please help us. You are a very powerful person, and you should actually lead the war. So he did that. He went to the heavenly planets and he was fighting the Asuras. So time went by and he defeated all of them, and by the time the Devas also got another commander-in-chief, there was Karthikeyan, that we know, Subramaniam. He took over. So after a year or more, the war was over, he was about to leave back. So Lord Indra and everybody told him, my dear Muchkunda, if you look at the earth now, the time has passed, because here it's a year and a little plus, but down at the earth, it is thousands of years have gone by, and all your lineage, your children, grandchildren, everybody is vanished. There's nobody there. What will you do when you go there? So when he heard this, he felt very sad. He said, let me at least then sleep, because he had not slept for a wink during those times of the war. So he told Indra that I want to sleep till the Kali Yuga comes. So Lord Indra blessed him and he said, okay, and you can go to a secluded place and sleep there, And I also bless you that if, in case anyone comes to disturb you for any reason, by the look of you itself, that person will get into an ash, will be burnt to ashes. So with this, you are sleeping. So here, in this cave, when this great king Muchkunda was sleeping, enters Yavana, thinking that it was Lord Krishna sleeping on the ground, and seeing that Angavastra of the Lord, he kicked him hard. That kick was the last mortal seva that he would have done through his body. And as soon as he kicked, there woke King Muchkunda. He slowly opened his eyes, looking up who was this guy who troubled him, and when he saw in front of him this Kalayavana, he immediately started getting into, he was immediately immolated into its fire. And the fury of the fire was so much that in a few moments he burned to ashes. And then, of course, the Lord blessed Muchkunda Maharaj, and then from there he went to Badrinath and did tapasya, and he had his moksha. So the Lord, from the time, because he ran away from this particular incident, from this place, that's why he's called Ranchor. Run means war, and Chor means like leaving it. So it's called Ranchor Rai. So if you ever get time, please do visit this temple of Ranchor Rai. That's in Dakor. It's not very far from Amul, where we have Anand station, the Amul factory. So it's not very far from there. It's a beautiful place, very, very serene and nice, exclusive temple. So this is the story why the Lord is called Ranchor Rai. Hare Krishna. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. I presume all of you must be blissful with your extra rounds and chanting for Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Hare Hari Bol.